friends, Kim from stampingimperfection.com. Thank you for joining me. I'm here making a video for Scrappy Tails Crafts, and I will have all of the links for the products I'm using below. I pulled out 4 die sets, and I'm going to use 3 of these. I have the Assorted Leaves stamp set. I have the Slimline pop-up die because I love the sentiments in there. I have the Assorted Rose dies, and I also pulled out the Spring Essentials metal dies, but I didn't end up using that one. So this is a set of cards where the backgrounds were completely inspired by some stuff I saw on Pinterest, and I've been wanting to do this for a while. I've got this pile of pastel card scraps, like just cardstock scraps, this pile has been building up on the side of my table, and I've been wanting to try this because I saw this a long time ago and it looked really interesting. So I put some of my Sizzix double-sided sticky paper down on a piece of white cardstock, and you can see it is super sticky. So all of this stuff, even the white cardstock I'm using, these are all scraps. So I don't want to waste them. I mean, these are good pieces. So I'm laying them down diagonally. I'm going to make 2 panels. This one I'm doing diagonally, and I'm going to make one that they go horizontally across. So I'll end up with 2 panels, which will allow me to make 4 cards. So I'm just kind of, putting these around, and you can see they're not all the same size. And one little mistake that I made that I would take care of next time is because I'll definitely be doing this technique again. It was super fun. I did not make sure that all my pieces were cut straight because they were scraps. I just assumed that I cut like the edge off and that they were all straight. But on the panel where I put them horizontally, on this one it's not that noticeable, but on the one where I cut them horizontally, or put them on horizontally, I can see that some of them were wider on one end than the other end, but it works out okay actually. So for this one, I'm just trimming off the excess here, and I can still reuse some of those pieces. So of course I push those off to the side because heaven forbid I waste a tiny scrap of paper. So I'm squaring this up a little bit because I felt like it wasn't quite square, and I want to put it on a darker piece of cardstock because I have this beautiful deep purple cardstock that I think will look so pretty behind all these springy colors. So I'm just cleaning this up, and I have a brand new blade on my trimmer, so it's making it a little bit easier to trim these tiny little slivers off and to get it pretty straight. So I actually like the way this looks so far. It's very Eastery, very spring. And so I'm just going to glue this panel down onto a piece of this really pretty purple. And I'm going to get a lot of mileage out of this piece of purple paper because I'll do the same thing with the horizontal stripes, and then I'll just take this to my trimmer and I'll trim it down the side here. Now, one of the things I love about this trimmer, this little Fiskars trimmer, it's got a wire in it that you can't see, but I can see the wire as I'm cutting, so I can kind of line that up and get exactly the width of that purple that I want to get along the edge, so it sort of matches all the way around. So I'm using card bases that are 4 1/4 by 11. I'm scoring and folding them at, well, I didn't score them, I was lazy about that, but I'm folding them at 5 1/2. And I decided that I would put this at a jaunty angle because one of the cards I saw, or actually several of the cards I saw, the card top was put down at a fun angle. So I thought I'll do that, and I'll use that second piece for another card. I had seen a few cards done like that, and I thought, this would be super cute. This is a cute background, and it almost looks like I'm putting a white panel down. So I'm just kind of peeling this back a little bit. I learned this tip from my friend Kiona, and I loved how easy it made to put something down and line it up. And you just pull that, you bend it back a little bit and then just pull it. And I'm leaving it at the top because I'm going to stick that to another piece of paper and I don't want it sticking to my craft desk or the back of my card or, so I'm not cutting this like straight apart. I'm keeping this as one piece because, again, I felt inspired by something I saw on Pinterest. And actually, a whole board of, there's complete boards of, on Pinterest of using up card scraps. And I've also seen this done with patterned paper. So if you have patterned paper scraps, don't hesitate to do this same technique with patterned paper scraps. So I just put that on another card base. All my card bases are the same size. Now I'm going to pull out that Assorted Leaves die set from Scrappy Tails Crafts. This is one of my very favorite die sets. Like as soon as I saw this, I had to have it because I think this is one of those essential sets every craft stash should have. Like it's full of leaves and it's got little stems of leaves, and then it's got this one, and this one fascinates me. I love this. I think this is beautiful. If you did this in black and white, it would make a wonderful sympathy card. So I have another video where I think I made 5 different cards using several different techniques with this particular stamp set. So I'm just using a couple dies from this die, not stamp set, I mean die set. So here's that slimline pop-up card die. It's like a slimline box, but it folds down so you can tuck it into a business envelope, and it makes a great card because then someone can use it as a decoration. But it's packed full of word dies and like thank you, best wishes, all kinds of things, thinking of you. So I've used those. I've used actually the word dies more than I have the pop-up box because I love these little word dies. They're a nice size. They don't overtake your whole card. And I'm doing this in some of the scrap purple. And I'm going to use this same sentiment for everything because you always need thank you cards, right? So I'm just going to add these. And I just add a little bit of, this is that art glitter glue that I'm using. I quite like this glue, but the moment you stick it down to your paper, it's stuck. Like there's no wiggle room with this glue. Like with my Tombow glue, there's some wiggle room. That's why I use it. This has no wiggle room. Once it's put down, it is put down. So you don't need a lot, which I like. So I just dab up the glue and that completes that card. Isn't that pretty? How pretty is that? I love that jaunty little angle. I think it's super cute. So for this next card, I decided to use some of the dies from the Assorted Rose die sets. Now, all of the cards that I'm making today, I'm making 4 cards. They're all made just from cardstock. And everything is scraps except for that one sheet of purple, and the white card bases are not scraps. So this die set has the background die for those roses and then the outline die. And again, I have a whole video on techniques I used these outline dies for because I especially love this die set. I love these outline dies. There's so many techniques you can do with them. So, check out some of my other videos with these dies. I really get a lot of bang for my buck when I buy dies like this, die sets like this. So I love this one. So I did do one stem, and I thought I would use all 3 of these roses, but then I realized I really like the way the single rose looked. So I'll use those 2 roses on another card. And again, I'm just going to put that thank you down. Super simple, and I like it. I kind of feel like this was the leftover piece. Why waste that? And I kind of feel like this looks like I put a white sheet of paper down on top of the stripes. So I love the stripes at the angle. I really thought that was super fun putting them on diagonally. So I've done it before. I just have this huge pile that's been building up, and I don't know why. I just felt really inspired to do use them for a background, and I really wanted to use these two sets for sure. I also love that Spring Essentials set. It's got cute butterflies. It's got some really nice Easter eggs and a pretty grass dye that I think would work for a lot of situations. So I forgot to turn my camera on when all I did was cut that apart. So I cut it in not quite half, but here you can see I used those other two roses, and that green stem is from the Assorted Leaves set. That's one of my favorites. And if you don't have one of those little dies in your stamp set that's just a stem of leaves, you definitely want one because it's a great filler. And it's perfect for scrapbooking too, I might add, because you always need vines and things for your scrapbook pages. So because I cut that, I wanted a little strip of purple along the top. And here's where you can see the strips of cardstock weren't all cut straight. So I'm positioning them so that the ones that are really obvious, which are the ones on the ends, are going to be cut off. And I left a little bit of white space on the edge of each of those. Like these cards with now these are vertical stripes, but I left a little bit of white space because that's how I like it. If you don't like that, put it all the way to the edge of your card. And again, I'm using this particular, I think of it as baby's breath. Now, one thing you could do, I'm leaving these plain. You could take a white gel pen and because those drops of glue look kind of pretty. You could take a white gel pen and put just a dot in the center of each one of those, and they would look like little tiny flowers. So these cards are so simple, and I used up so many scraps today that they were literally just piling up. I bought a whole package of assorted pastel cardstock, and I've been using it for everything the last couple of months. So this was a perfect way to use up those little strips I had sitting there. And again, you can do this with pattern paper. I've done this with pattern paper before, and they look so pretty. But there you go, a couple different ideas. And that will complete my video. I will put all the links below. Please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Make sure you click that bell so you get notifications every time you upload a video. And if you use the links, it would really help me out because we're having a little contest on the design team at Scrappy Tails Crafts to see who sells the most. So it's always kind of fun. So thank you so much for watching, friends, and have a wonderful day.